Hello and welcome back to 33 Conversations, it's a podcast. We talk to founders or people that are building meaningful things in the world and what their experiences, their stories about how they got here. And today is absolutely no exception. I am really happy to have on my guest today, Trent Mailer. Um, Trent, where are you from? I forgot. Denver?
Reno, Nevada.
Reno. Okay, I knew it was West, but talk to so many people, and sometimes I don't really track the date, but I knew it was in the West somewhere. But you are a therapist for high performers, an educator, and a private practice founder. And when we were talking on our pre-call, I was just so completely fascinated about your take and your story about how you got here and how you're helping people. It's just something that I don't really hear from somebody that's just starting out with, like, you have such a vision and a clarity that I really wanted to show people that it's okay to have that at a young age and don't have to wait till you get older. So you're really inspiring to me. So welcome to the pod. I appreciate it. And share with me your story about how you kind of got started in this very specific niche and how you're like starting to show up and impact in the world.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you taking the time and, kind of helping me share my story as well.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, I had kind of a unique way of getting to it. I got recruited to play college football at the University of Nevada. So I came out to Reno for that reason and, did my college studies and all that. And I had a completely different plan. I thought I wanted to be a lawyer. But during that time, I realized the struggles that a lot of my teammates were having and a lot of that I was having, and how there wasn't a whole lot of support out there. And it wasn't a lack of support. It was just a lack of understanding support was needed, because a lot of people just expected us being at that level to be doing good. Like, you did the goal, you reached college level athletics and you're doing what you want to do. And you're on a scholarship and you're getting a college degree and all these cool things, which is very awesome in a lot of ways. But there was also a lot of struggles and a lot of pressure with all of that, and a lot of transition that I felt like I didn't really have anyone to lean on with that. So there was times I did look out for supports of just who could help me manage these things, and I didn't really find much. So as I kind of went through the next couple years, finding out that being a lawyer wasn't the path for me, and I found myself on the path of becoming a therapist, I kind of clicked one day of just like, this could be perfect for people in those positions, because that was the exact thing I needed. So I started tailoring my work towards those high performers and people reaching these higher levels where most people just assume they're doing fine. Like, you're making lots of money, or you're running a business, or, you have lots of people following you, or whatever it might be. But I just feel like so many people felt like alone and lost in that and didn't know who to turn to. So I wanted to create a service where I could kind of wrap up all of these therapeutic tools and interventions that I have been trained on and I can use to then help high performers be more successful and sustain that success for a long period of time without something breaking them down. So that's really my mission, is just getting that awareness out there so people understand there's ways to manage it better than maybe they have been, and also to help them do it personally, because I like tailoring my programs to exactly people's life situations and what they have going on, because there's no cookie cutter answer to these things, and we have to work with what's going on in the situation specifically.
Yeah. So you tapping into something. Thank you for sharing that story.
Of course.
But like, there's this thing, because I like in every school, in every situation that has an academic team and there's people on the team, that team or they're perceived differently than the other people that is in your same ecosystem. And this is just something that's I'm starting to get on a new level too. It's like, because I'm, in the world, I get feedback sometimes that they think I have it all together and that I'm this or that by the way that I, show up and do things. And then I'm hearing that in your story too. So what was your experience of, like, first of all, that's not what's happening at all inside. It's like, that's not at all what's happening. It's, I'm always in a constant state of breakdown, like what's going on and like, how does this fit? Like, I'm always that, because my brain works that way, but I don't show that. Or now I'm really aware of it. So from the sports perspective, it also gives me a compassion for like where I did that when I was growing up, because I I just was never in sports. I couldn't do any of that stuff. I could run and do track and stuff, but the other parts I just could get when I was growing up. Like, it intimidated me so much. But share your experience. And does this come from something from your own past?
Yeah, so that concept you're talking about of just like showing the world that you're fine while inside we're kind of panicking is very common. And that's one of the things I see with high performers all of the time is we're really good at showing an image that I'm good, I'm in control, and I'm doing what I need to do. I mean, that's often how we get to these levels where we're in leadership or running teams or whatever
Mm-hmm.
anyways. So it led to our success. But that's where it doesn't become sustainable because that fire on the inside, it slowly grows. It slowly builds. And eventually it burns all the way through and there's nothing left and we're burnt out. So it's
Yeah.
about managing that through a system and using tools to better deal with that and understanding and just kind of normalizing. That's the awareness aspect that I even talk about in my own podcast about how to understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. Because so many people just do it thinking they're going to be fine, but then they end up burning out and running into problems and kind of crashing. And there are ways to avoid it if we just catch it earlier and do things about it before we push ourselves to that point. So I think that's a huge aspect of the work that I do. And I see that all the time. And that is also kind of like a misleading point because some people see that of like, everyone thinks I'm doing fine and I have all of these things I can point at that shows my success. So I must not need anything. I'm good. But what we're missing is the happiness, the fulfillment, the
Yeah.
energy, feeling like we can keep going with it all and not feeling like every day turns into a drag or a grind and you feel almost chained to the thing that's supposed to bring you freedom and
And
success.
failure. It's like a failure thing underneath it that because when it collapses, I did not get that. You know, if I would have known you when I was younger, I would have had a different life. But like, I would start another business. I would start something else that was like, and just repeat it because it was almost like a bulb would go off. Like, you're done here. Like, this is over. Like, you've achieved the goal. You know, I know it's in life and you relate it to sports, but they mirror each other so much that
They do.
it's like none of us were taught this like when we were growing up. Like how the hell did it occur to you? Was it an aha? Like you just saw it, or was it a class, or what sparked this like lid that you opened up that's so powerful?
Yeah, I think it was kind of a slow grow. I think I noticed the problem first and I had no idea what to do with it. I remember having a teammate grab me at one point towards my final year of playing who actually talked to me about just like thinking of life outside of football and what to do next because like it's ending. And that's the reality for most people that do college sports or anything like that is you get to this point and then it's just over. So I started to think about it then and that's when I started to see those problems and those issues and even noticing the problems and issues I was dealing with myself. There was some times I was really struggling individually and now I know it as anxiety, but at that time I had no idea what it was. I thought like, oh, there's something just wrong with my stomach. You know, I got to take care of myself better or sleep more or something like that. But I was just dealing with anxiety and it was actually, you know, looking back on it now, probably a pretty quick treatment to fix it and take care of it. I just didn't know what I was dealing with. And that's why I like to spread awareness so much with it because if we can see it, we can do something about it. Recognition is the first
Yeah,
step, right?
yeah,
And then as I
exactly.
followed that path, becoming a therapist in school and getting my master's degree, I started to learn about how these tools work and how they can help people. And that was kind of that light bulb moment. So I had this like problem that I've seen, I
Yeah,
didn't even know what to do with. And then one day it just clicked and it was like, okay, now I know exactly how we can deal with these things. And then it was just time and patience of me trying to finish up all my hours, get fully licensed, get independent, start my own business, do all those things because there wasn't really anyone out there that does this. Like I still to this day struggle finding other people that do similar things. I think I found one person in Reno that does something similar and we talk and we share, you know, tools and techniques and what we're doing, but it's really just a lonely field because not many people recognize the need for it. You see a lot of people in like general mental health, but you don't really see people leaning on that niche of like, I'm here for the high performers that everyone else think are totally fine and even point to and say, I want to be like that. But they don't see the struggles. They don't see the pain. They don't see the issues going on. Even if they're living in some giant, amazing house or have some awesome job or great family or whatever it is, that we can still have struggles. Struggles are just human things. And once we start normalizing that and accepting that that's okay, we can get past it and deal with it and work on these things a whole lot faster than just trying to white knuckle through it. And that's another thing that actually causes more issues for high performers because high performers are so good at pushing through the grind and just white knuckling through through it.
Hmm.
The issue is
Yeah.
we can push so far that we can't come back anymore, and that's the tragedy.
Been there, done that. And it's embarrassing. It's like it's a whole lot of things because I always felt like I had a missing piece, which it was missing, is what we're talking about right now, but I had no access to it. I just thought it was a me problem, and it was, but it wasn't not like a blame thing. It was just an effect that I wasn't aware of something going on. So
Yeah, and it's
what
very easy to turn into blame.
it is, well, it's natural because you're
Yeah,
isolated and you
yeah.
don't have a feedback. The only feedback you've got is this guy in here, and it's not really your friend most of the time. So
And it leads to our success because that piece pushes us to do better and fix things and own things and take accountability. But then sometimes we take so much accountability, we're missing that this is actually something else now.
exactly, it transforms.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you went as a lawyer. What had you? Was that something you wanted to, or was that like what society or you thought? Why lawyer? And then
Yeah.
what was the thing that was like not the lawyer?
Yeah. It
And
just Go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, it just seemed interesting. Like, that was kind of the basis of it. In high school, I had lots of thoughts of just what I wanted to be, and I didn't really know. But I was always fascinated by criminal justice in general, true crime shows or just things about lawyers, anything like that. I always thought it was very interesting. And, I always like complex thought. That's kind of what brings me into being a therapist myself. So it just kind of felt like it fit. Like, let me try this out and see how it goes. And then I loved all the classes I took in school too. So that was pretty positive in a lot of ways. I didn't really actually learn that this wasn't for me until I worked at a law firm after graduation. My goal was I wanted to see how it was before I actually went to law school because I didn't want to get into a bunch of debt and then realize this wasn't for me and then be stuck. So I said, let me just try it out. I'll find some random job in a law firm and just get a feel for it, make some connections, kind of network, see what I want to get into, and then I can go into law school. So I worked at a medical malpractice law firm where we really focused on medical aspects of lawyering, and I hated it. It wasn't a bad place. It was doing homework for a living every single day. And the worst part was it was the same homework every day. So I felt like I was losing my mind and I was just plugging variables in and just running it through the same system. And it was just not for me. It felt almost monotonous. So once I got that experience for a while, I got to a point of like, I need to do something else. Then I had a bunch of panic come in because I had no idea what to do at that point. That was the plan. That's what I got my degree in. And with a criminal justice degree, you kind of have a couple options. You can be a police officer, you can be a lawyer, you can kind of work in the jails. That's kind of like your options. So I felt pigeonholed, I felt lost, I felt stuck. And I found another job that was just going to pay the bills, but it was something different. I just decided to try it out to see if it would be fun. And it actually kind of led me into teaching. And as I got a job as a teacher, they naturally put me into crisis intervention situations just because they needed extra help, because there's always a need for help in the schools. And I realized I was actually kind of good at it and I liked it. And then I looked into what programs are out there to do this full time. That's when I found the therapist stuff. And then once I got into the actual classes and gave it a shot and learned what they were talking about and how it could help people, that was the light bulb moment of, okay, this is how I do this now. And then it's been off to the races since then.
Amazing how the universe works.
It's crazy. Things just click sometimes.
But I'm gonna ask you another question.
Yeah,
There,
absolutely.
the lawyer experience and going to school for that, does that still serve you?
It
Like
does. It
having that,
actually,
yeah, that gives you a lens
yeah.
nobody else has.
Exactly, because in the world of therapy, there's a lot of people I work with, especially the general therapy clients, when we're not just like high performers, but just coming in for help. A lot of them deal with the criminal justice system. So I have so much understanding and ideas within that system that they could take advantage of resource wise that I can provide help in that lane, unlike a lot of other people. So it kind of has helped me continue to go on. And at the time when I was thinking of what else to do, I thought I wasted my time and all of that was going to be for nothing. But I think it kind of goes back to the idea that we have to live life forward, but it only makes sense in reverse. That we keep moving forward. We don't always know where we're going, but once we look back, the dots start to connect and we're like, okay, this all made perfect sense as to how I got here now. It's just real easy as we're moving forward to feel very lost and unsure of what's next.
It's brilliant what you just said. That could be the title. So,
Yeah.
because you can't. It
Yeah.
is only in retro. But
Yeah.
if you get I had in the past, I had a tendency to stay stuck there until I found the answer. And that became its own little ecosystem that was not very healthy as well. Or become just, what's the resigned, just
Yeah.
like the older you get, yeah. But that doesn't work for me
Mm,
either. So that's got to blow through that as well. My God, you're
yeah,
so aware. You
I
just don't
appreciate
really
that.
see that much. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it's a added benefit of the job. I work with awareness all the time, so it naturally just kind of bleeds into my own life. It's a cool job in a lot of ways because I learn so much from so many people. Like my oldest
yeah.
client is 85, my youngest client is 5. So I see kind of everything and I hear so many life stories and successes and failures, and I've just learned so much wisdom from just hearing people in their struggles and how they got through it and how they dealt with it. And naturally I just get to hear people's life stories and it's just an amazing thing. I'm sure you've heard
It
lots of life
is.
stories yourself through this
Oh,
podcast and through your other
every
career.
day of my life is like when
Yeah,
I'm doing this, I feel on purpose. I feel in alignment, and I'm in awe of the people that I meet. And after and there's a drive that, you know, I know now it's how to like validate a business or an idea, or you have a desire to help somebody, you put in it. But before, my old thinking is you create something and then you present that thing or have that offer, and then it works or it doesn't work and you start that loop again. But the reality is what I'm understanding now from this different perspective is it's in other people and it's seeing it and it's an evolving thing. And because like inside of me, there's this little person going, oh my God, if you guys could just meet each other, like the world would be different because just by the nature of what we do and how it's done, it's isolated, it's not connected. And that's my mission now, is to connect all of you guys together. So I don't know how it's going to, I don't have to know how, but I know that it's there. There's some sort of connective tissue that empowers all of us to the next level just by even knowing each other and sharing our stories, because
yeah,
that's the power of the pod. It's not about what people do or how they got there. It's about the story, about how it is. And, you know, when we were talking, you started to share with me about helping kids with training. And I didn't know you worked with a whole range of people. So I'm excited to hear about that as well. But share with me
yeah.
when you started to like get the clients and your definition of high, like how can you have a high performer 5-year-old and an 85-year-old? Like share with me how that
Totally.
happens. Yeah.
Yes. The 5-year-olds are definitely just like normal therapy clients. So it's a lot more of like play therapy and you're working through things with them in their own life. Sometimes you rarely get somebody who's like on a path towards something pretty cool at that age. It's rare, but it does happen. And a lot of the work at that age is really just emotion understanding, because it's not like we're going to change your whole life or fix everything right now, because I mean, they don't really have the capacity at 5 to really fully understand most of the concepts, but some of them they can. And if we can help them with recognition and understanding things from an early age, then as they build these things, they can find more success. And then we actually set them up to come back to do the deeper work later, because this isn't some scary thing or some hard thing in their life. It's just a place to go to get better. And that's really all it is. Like we look at the gym as just like a place to go to get better, but for whatever reason, we look at therapy as like almost a threat at times of like, this could be a bad thing, or they could find something I don't want to find, or they're going to make me talk about something I don't want to talk about. And it can be hard for sure. Like I see the struggle every day, but I've also seen what happens when people go through the struggle and embrace it, and they come out the other side. And kind of leaning on what you were saying about connection's the deepest part of the work, no matter what age, no matter what is going on. And I tell this to my students because I also teach at the university, people coming out to be therapists themselves, that it does not matter how good is you are at what you do if you have no connection with the person. You're not going to get anything done. That is the
Surface.
thing that gets things moving. Exactly.
Yeah.
So if we want any depth, if we want anything to really change in a meaningful way, we need connection, and that's all
Yeah.
aspects of our life.
Yeah. That's my wheelhouse. It scares the shit out of me,
Yeah.
but it's like my wheelhouse because I know how to, well, it scares me too. You know, like there's always east to go. No matter, I'm like, this is my I turned 60 this year. You'd think you'd have everything figured out. I feel like a kid. I'm just now starting to feel things and complete things from that I had no idea from the past because I
Yeah.
continue to learn. I continue to throw myself into new things and be present to what's inside of me, and that's desire to connect. My passion for mission driven founders and builders is inside of my DNA because I've been doing this since I've always been an entrepreneur. I've always been an entrepreneur. And that's a different mindset. I tried a couple times, like, my God, how I would be like, God, let me just go work for somebody and I don't have to think about anything. But I couldn't because I would be inside their apparatus going, oh God, she needs to change that. They need to do this. And like, my mind was just I'm not built that way. But at the same time, there's not a bridge to connect with other folks because even inside of a networking event, it's not connective. It's hi, I sell this, tell other people you know. There's no
Yeah.
connectiveness to it. Like,
Mhm.
I don't give a shit about your product. I care about you. And like, and then when I care about you and I understand you or connect with you, oh, I want to do business with that person because of X. So I've had it, but now I'm finding because of where we're at in the world, the systems that used to produce that, they're they're dying, and it's us that are bringing in that are bringing in new systems and new ways of thinking. I mean, imagine that the life of that 5-year-old at 10 and 15 that does not have to go through all the crap that most teenagers and stuff have to go because he'll have the right and his parents for supporting that. I mean, they're not too long ago that stuff was taboo. Like you don't do stuff like that. You just buckle up and, go and plow through. And that's how, that's just how that my generation that raised me, that's the only thing that they knew. They didn't know any different. But I love that all
Yeah.
of this new energy, new possibilities, and new openings are happening. It's it's a
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
It
So
is
what
awesome. And
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say that push through is important, but the issue becomes, like you said, when it's the only option. That's where the issues come in, is we need to be able to push through and do the hard stuff, but we also have to use other tools too. And I think that's the evolution of this, that is a good thing. Because a lot of people also almost look at it the opposite way of if you're going to use therapy and all these other tools, then you can't push through. And once it gets hard, you just quit. And that's not the truth. We can still do the hard things and go through the discomfort and the grind. We just have more effective ways of doing it now. And another thing that you mentioned that I really wanted to highlight is just the fact that fear can be there as you build these things, as you're successful. It's just part of it. And so many people think the fear is just going to go away. There's plenty of things I do constantly when I have that fear peeking up for myself. If I'm going to go do a public speaking event and I'm sitting there looking at the crowd out there, it's like, yeah, this is scary. But I still push myself through it to do the thing. And that's where that power helps. And I even use tools myself to help manage these things because just like anyone else, I'm just a human and we got to help ourselves with these
Yeah.
things. Life is
Yeah.
hard.
It is. I'm getting ready to do one next week. And I was, do you ever have this experience where, do you speak a lot? Do you do public
Yeah,
speaking?
I speak fairly runner. Yeah.
So, when you have this really great idea and as it gets closer, you're like, what the hell am I even going to talk about? Like everything just kind of goes away. And it's like, oh my God, that's in 3 days. And I have no idea what I'm even going to talk about. So there's this thing that happens, but I've learned that that's really getting you a little bit deeper. And so I had this one thing next week and I had this big, huge thing planned. The closer I got to it, it was like it kept stripping down. It kept stripping down. It kept shedding. It was like I'm creating an event called the 314 experiment. I don't know if I told you about that on our call, but it's people are craving connection in a different way. And um and community is so important right now. The founder community that I'm building, but it's also I want to be in my own community and connect and help connect that because I just see it and people's faces, at the grocery store and like they just don't know what's coming next or how to deal with it. I'm like, we don't have to have the answer, but just knowing that somebody can hear you and be seen by you and understand your story, that helps on that. So I created an event where people are coming together that don't know each other, and I'm going to create a context, and we're going to ask deeper questions and listen and hear and experience and share to create trust, because it's one of the main pillars of building a strong community. And I had it
That's
as a
awesome.
big event, but with the holidays and whatever's, all the distractions, people are super distracted. There's going to be about 50, maybe 70 people there. It's, you know what? That's a win, and it's perfect. But I caught
Yeah.
myself going down that highway of, oh my God, it's not going to be this, and it's a fail. And I had a very dear friend point out, it's like, Michael, getting 20 people in a room is a miracle. Just focus on the things that you have. And as soon as I let go of that, and like, you're absolutely right, it just became magic again. And yeah, because that's the only thing that works now, is like the heart energy of sharing and where you're coming from, because that you exude that like crazy. So it's that the system is not the person's not the failure. It's the systems. We're outgrowing those systems, and then
Yeah.
people like you are building new systems. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
and we
really
just
kind
gotta
of,
keep going with them and see where it leads us, and I think that is very common with these things of going into it, having a great idea, and then it just feels like certain aspects aren't gonna hit the way we think it's gonna hit or not as valuable as we thought, and it just starts stripping away. I think for me, I get to a point where there's even certain presentations or strategies that I talk about quite often, so it's almost like muscle memory at this point. But there's times I'll go into public speaking engagements where I have these like what if thoughts of like, what if I totally forget what to say? What if that whole concept just escapes my mind and I can't remember it? And while I know logically like it's still up there, it's just that fear piece coming in. And I think we all just have this piece of just that fear of judgment and rejection and just being scared that we're going to put something out there because it's a very vulnerable thing to be on a stage, to put something out publicly and just having someone just reject it in such a like intense way. I mean, we're all scared of it, whether we want to admit it or not. Some of us are just better at managing it and keeping it at check instead of letting it just go
yeah,
crazy. But it's
yeah,
there for all of us. And that's why I want to spread this awareness is just let people know that these things are just normal. And it doesn't mean you're not meant to do this or you're not fit for it. It just means you're on the path.
yeah. So as you're on the path to 2026, what are you excited? What's opening up? What's becoming in what you're doing? Or, it's got to be evolving for you too. Like, what are you seeing? What are you excited about for yourself this year?
Yeah, I'm really excited about how my business is growing more into like the teams and business aspects of things. A lot of my work up to this point has been individual. I've done some teams, some businesses, but it's been a little more limited and more focused on the individual. And this year, I already have some contracts set up where I'm working with some businesses to help them navigate some situations in their business, helping better set up their teams for just a better system for everyone to be happier and things to flow better, working with teams, whether it be a sports team, like a football team or something like that, to help navigate things on the field in the moment so issues don't get bigger and start causing issues for the whole team. Because if we don't take care of issues that are happening individually, they start bleeding onto everything else. So being able to
Yeah,
continue that work more at a group level is really exciting because some of the tools and techniques are adjusted going through multiple people instead of just one. And at the same time, the thing I like the most about groups is I can get this message across to multiple people at once instead of just like one person at a time. Cause then I have like almost like this open room to just give it to more and more people. Where if I continue to do it just individually, my limits are so small and it's based just on like how many hours are in the day and less of like how many people I can actually reach. So I think it's really just about expanding reach and getting into new arenas and just kind of growing as I go through it all. And I'm really excited to see where it takes me.
yeah. Well, I support you 1,000%. I'm building a community here, so I know what that's like from switching from individuals to the groups. It's very different. So you got me to sound things off of, because it's a different animal. It switches to where it's more of a facilitation type of a vibe than it's just a shift in awareness, which has probably already started to happen with you if you already started to think about it. But it's a
Yeah.
definite place on the record player. But it's also really cool because it's you use yourself and your body in a different way to hold space like you hold space when you're working with people individually. It's just changing that space to where you're working in groups and creating it intentionally. So I'll definitely, you got somebody to bounce off ideas with if you ever need it. That's what community is
Love
all
it. I
about.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. We got to lean on each other.
Yeah. Because it's already within you. It's just we just help each other express it out into the world. So,
Exactly.
share some wisdom with somebody that I always have guests at the end of the show share something, but I'm having yours different. So, like, what would you have? What kind of wisdom would you have for just, I mean, not to high performers, but maybe somebody that's had the urge that feels like there's something more in life than what they've settled for? What would you, and
Yeah.
they're getting ready to pop out. Like, what do you want to share with them?
I think the best thing I can share with that is don't fear your own potential. So many people see what they could do or what they want to do, and they're just scared of how it's actually going to come out or how you're going to do it. And the other side of this is as long as we keep it up in our mind and we actually don't take steps on it, it stays perfect. The second we take a step, something's going to probably go wrong. So a lot of people have these ideas and have things they want to do, but they're just afraid of how it's going to go wrong and what's going to go wrong. And the best thing I can say with that is things are going to go wrong. Like there's no avoiding that. And if you let that hold you back, you're never going to do the
Never,
things that you're meant to
yeah,
do. And you're going to have so many regrets of like, I wish I did that thing, or I should have given that a shot like 20 years ago, or whatever it is. So embrace the fear of it and put yourself out there and just see where it goes. Because I mean, that was a lot of the things that I felt as well as I got ready to start and launch my own thing. And honestly, I could have probably started it much earlier than I did. I just kept telling myself I need to learn more. I need to research more. I need to grow more before I could do it. And there's no right time. You just have to put it out there and see what happens. At the end of the day, published is better than polished. You can always adjust as you go. You can always
especially
learn and
now.
grow, and you're
Yeah,
never going to know what to improve until something goes wrong. So we have to put ourselves on the edge of that comfort zone and see how we grow. And I promise you can handle it. You just got to trust yourself a little bit. And it's okay if it's scary. It's okay if you're feeling fear. It's okay if you think it's all going to fall apart. It
yeah,
usually doesn't. That's just our insecurities showing up.
man. What a powerhouse you are. Woo! I love it.
I appreciate it.
Um,
Thank you.
yeah. So yeah, that's how we're gonna end this one. This is awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with everybody and just your viewpoint. And I'm glad to know that you're in the world. 'Cause
Yeah, I
yeah,
appreciate it. Thank you for taking me on and having me kind of
yeah,
explain my message and get it out there for people. My whole goal is just, kind of helping people best I can. I believe in the idea that a rising tide lifts all boats. So I don't think any help given
yeah,
to anybody kind of falls in a zero
no,
aspect. I think it's going to improve something in some way. So,
yeah,
however I
man.
can help is always what I want to do.
Well, you did it today. Thank you so much for being on the pod. Appreciate it. And you guys, I know this is an awesome one, and I know there's tons of takeaways. Share your wisdom that you have in your own life with the people in your life, and meet a new stranger and have a new conversation today. Till the next one, we'll see you. Bye, guys.